to share a couple of dreams that I had. These date back to probably the early 90s, like 91, 92. When I was living in St. Louis in the Central West End, in one of my first apartments there. In the first dream, the setting is in a old church or building. Now, I grew up in the Catholic Church and the Baptist Church, so old church buildings and old books and stuff like that are kind of planted into my subconscious. So I'm walking around this old church building, noticing the wear and tear on the old pews and the scuff marks on the tile floor and whatnot, the old statues of saints, candles lit, the slight smell of frankincense and myrrh or incense is in the air, but you can still smell the decay and maybe even is come up